checking out this video. Don't forget, like and subscribe. There were shows all weekend, but we have to talk about AEW Revolution here on this show, which was a hell of a show, Dave.
It's a hell of a show, yeah.
Yes, it was. What did you think of this show?
I thought it was a hell of a show.
What were the highs and lows of this show, would you say?
I mean, the highs were those three matches. I mean, I shouldn't say those three matches because it's more than that. Pretty much, you know, the show looked great on paper and pretty much was. You know, obviously, if I would have looked at what was going on and known what was going on, I would have had a different match order. But I do get that. I do get the idea of wanting to end the show with Swerve and Moxley, since that's the next pay-per-view main event. So I do get that, because I always think that, like, you want to end the pay-per-view with fans, like, being hyped for the next pay-per-view main event. So I do get that. But as far as, like, the match itself went, it's hard to do a basic wrestling match after you've given people bloodbaths. I've mentioned this before because it's not the first time this has happened in AEW, where, you know, the tradition is for the most part they're going to put the championship match last. But if you're going to do these, like, incredible, like, I remember when, like, with, I think the Young Bucks and Pentagon and Phoenix had the ladder match, and then I think it was Jericho and Adam Page had to follow, and they had really a great wrestling match, but you just, you know, can't do it. I mean, I just remembered, like, when I was a kid, like, if you would have with Eddie Graham, you know, who was a master at this, is that, like, if he had a Jack Briscoe World Championship match, it was going to be a classic match, but he had a bloodbath, he would, you know, that he wanted to blow off, he would do lights out match, and he would put them on last, because you don't want to do your World Championship match after a bloodbath and then have a dead World Championship match. So what we had a bunch of bloodbaths, and then, you know, Moxley and Copeland went out there and did a standard wrestling match, you know, with a, you know, and I think that they thought that the Christian finish and everything would have been okay, and then you had the Swerve run in at the end. So I get it, you know, but you know, the Tony Storm match, probably the Will Ospreay match, probably would have been a better finisher in some ways. I think the main event reaction would have been the world title reaction would have been a lot better had it not followed what it followed. But you know, minor quibble. I mean, it was a great show, and the matches, for the most part, exceeded expectations, or at least in most cases. The tag team title match probably did not exceed expectations.
Actually, the tag title match was exactly what my expectations were.
It was worse than
exactly.
Mine. It was worse than mine. It was actually, I expected, like, kind of a nothing-ish match. It was actually, I thought, kind of like a bad match. But aside from that, you know, I mean, the pre-show was fun. The AJ match was, you know, it was a mess. I miss, and that's not really the right term, but it was, you know, just filled with run-ins with celebrities and spots and things like that. But I mean, you have to kind of know that that's what it's going to be. You know, you're not going to get what you would call a classic wrestling match, in that. So I guess for what it was fine, and the crowd was into it, so that's fine. But yeah, I mean, the Ospreay match was out of this world great, and as far as I know, nobody is seriously hurt, but there are many people who are banged up. So as far as, like, the severity, I don't know, but I don't know, man. Will Ospreay, I mean, when they went up there, I mean, it's funny because when the show started, or when the cage match started, you know, my friends who were over, we were all going like, so what move are they going to do off the cage, you know? And somebody said Spanish Fly. And I said, that, please no. And they went and did that. And it was just like, you know, it's like, it's just not worth the risk. You know what I mean? And I hope he's okay. He landed right on his hip. He was limping really bad at the end. But I heard it didn't look like no serious injuries. So hopefully that's the case, that there are no serious injuries. Swerve had a busted eardrum. That one I know. And that's kind of it, I suppose. But
Mercedes is messed up. Momo Watanabe is messed up. Momo left on crutches. And I think she hurt her ankle on some spot. It was
She
not
hurt-
from
she-
kicking her in the face.
She hurt her. She did hurt her ankle. Yeah.
Although she kicked
Mercedes right in the
kicked
face.
her right in the. Actually, you know what? I think it was the neck, because what I heard was bruised larynx
Oh, really?
on Mercedes. But I mean, she was backstage and I mean, seemed to be largely okay. So I guess that's something to just check on.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a lot of people banged up here on this show. MJF got dropped right on his face on an Angel's wings, which looked brutal. And then they were going to do a spot with Ricochet and Swerve, where Swerve went for a dive and Ricochet was going to catch him and hit a Death Valley driver on the floor. But he did the dive, and you know, the timing was off, and Ricochet was falling down, and so he decided to just give him the move anyway. And man, this dude landed right on his head. And apparently he was all right, except for his ear. So yeah, there were a lot of scary spots here on this show. I will say that. Have you grabbed your F4WOnline.com shirt yet? Well, we got a bunch of them. They're up in the store right now. F4WOnline.com/shirts. You can grab your -5 stars shirt, your Dave Meltzer Wrestling Observer shirts, even the brand new After Dark Radio shirt. You love Granny? We have Granny's Gang shirts. Have you ever won a shoot battle royal? Probably not, but you can tell people you did. So check out the store. All of these great shirts and more. It's through Pro Wrestling Tees. F4WOnline.com/shirts. That's F4WOnline.com/shirts.